Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing the state that Predecessor is in currently right now. And a lot of this is going to be focused towards toxicity and matchmaking issues that the game has been having, as well as some connectivity issues that I've been noticing in the game. But before we get into that, I just want to say, if you like these videos and you support my channel, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet. And let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to discuss is ranked. It has been something that I've been noticing in my games, as well as just seeing what people have been saying on social medias, is that a lot of the ranked games, you'll be having teammates that are just trash, and you'll have enemies that are all working together and have a perfect composition, and it's just really hard to advance your rank. And I have a couple of ideas of what is going on here. So the first thing that is the issue is there's not enough players in the game, especially when you're playing ranked and it's trying to put you with people in your same ranked. I notice a lot of games where I'll have the same teammates back to back to back to back in games. And there'll be times where I'll be streaming and we'll just wait 5 minutes just so we don't get the same teammates, because we'll just keep getting the same trash teammates. And that's just an issue that's going to be happening with the game not having enough players in it, because obviously when you're having a matchmaking, and we're going to talk about matchmaking issues later on, but that first issue, I think the biggest problem is matchmaking. But there's also been another thing that I've been noticing, and I think I've come to the conclusion of what it is. But if you've noticed, a lot of times when you're loading into a game, people just won't ready up, and it'll happen like several times. And it just like you start thinking like, well, why did you even ready up if you're just going to hit decline in the first 2 seconds of when it's saying click ready. And another thing that I've been noticing that has been a big issue is, especially my last stream, you'll get into matches where you'll finally load into a match, and then you'll get to like select your characters, and then someone just won't select their character. And this will happen like several times. Like I'll actually play a clip right here. So I got this going at super speed just because this was like a 20-minute span where I couldn't get into a game. But I just kind of wanted to show you right here what was happening. Like you'd be selecting your characters, and all of a sudden it would just say party disbanded because somebody didn't pick a character. And then you'd be loading back in. Okay, finally, just be waiting. Oh, I got into another game. Oh, cool. And then boom, boom, selecting characters. Oh, nope, somebody disbanded again. And then you load in, and then it happened again. Look at that. And then finally we got into a game here, but you get the point. So I posted my theory on the Facebook group just to see what people thought, and everyone was saying that I was being paranoid and that it's not something that was true. So my theory is that since ranked you're only allowed to bring one teammate with you in your party, is people are trying to find a way around that. So with the first part where they keep declining the match like constantly over and over and over again, I think what's happening is they have 2 groups of 2 people, or maybe even like 2 groups and then a solo, and they want to have a big group that gets into the same team. So what they do is they queue up at the same time, and if they don't get match found at the same time, then they know they're not in the same game, so they decline, and they keep doing that until they both get match found at the same time. And they can do this as many times as they want because there's no penalty for declining a match like that. And with the second part where they don't select a hero, I think what's happening there is they don't get on the same team, so they just decide to let one of their teammates just take the hit and take a 1-minute ban. And since there's 4 of them, they can do this 4 times, where if they don't get on the same team in the same game, then they can just not select a hero, and then there's a 1-minute ban. They just have to wait a minute, they can jump back right in. And I think if they wait like a few hours, or even like 24 hours or however long it is, they could just do it again. So they can just keep doing this and getting on the same team. So then they have ranks where they're stacking up to 4 to 5 people versus the people who only have like one teammate that they're actually loading in with, and the rest is just randoms. But like I said, I did put this on the Facebook group, and I'll show the comment here where people said that it was just being paranoia. But then there's literally somebody that admitted that they do this. So it is something that happens regardless of if you want to just kind of bury your head in the sand and pretend like it isn't. This is something that's going on, and there's not really any way to stop it. I guess what they could do is Omeda Studios could make the ban for not selecting a hero higher, but I feel like a lot of people just actually just have issues where they just forget or something like that. But I guess a way to weed out the innocent people and the people doing it on purpose is they could just see if there's a pattern to it. If it happens like so many times in a row that the ban becomes worse and worse over time. But the only other solution could be just having more players in the game so that they can't get into the same lobbies like this, or just make it harder anyways. So all they can really do is make the player base higher, but that's something that's kind of out of their control for the most part. But before I go too far into this, I do want to say that like I still enjoy the game, and this isn't me complaining or anything like that. Well, I guess I am kind of complaining about it, but I still enjoy the game, and I'm not going to stop playing the game because of stuff like this. But there's a certain point where you just keep getting stomped and ranked, and it just starts not to be fun anymore. Even if like I am enjoying the game, it's just like it's not all about winning, but you know, sometimes you do want to win every once in a while. But you can go look at my streams if you want to, if you don't believe me. But a lot of my games that I've been having recently, where I'll have like high kills and be doing like really good, but we still get stomped, because no matter how good you are, if your teammates are feeding and doing terrible, you're just going to lose the match no matter what. And that mixed with the fact that you keep getting the same teammates every single game, it just kind of gets old, and you keep running into the same people that are just dragging you down. It just kind of gets really old and starts making the game not as fun. In some of my other videos, I've given ideas on how they can make the player base a little bit better and get more players, but like they're not going to be listening to me. They're not going to be watching my video and like, oh, that's a good idea, and implement ideas. So what can I do other than just say my ideas? One idea I will say right here, though, is I think that since a lot of people are obsessed with having every single skin in the game, what they should do is have a skin that you can only get by referring a friend or so many different friends to the game. And I just think that that would be really good for getting people to invite their friends and get more people playing the game. Because like the player base just right now is just not that great. And a lot of these issues that I'm bringing up could be fixed by having more players in the game. But anyways, let's move on from that. Let's start talking a little bit about the toxicity in the game. I don't think a lot of the toxicity is just predecessor based. I think a lot of MOBA games, just people are impatient with new players and stuff like that. I've mentioned before, back when Dota was on the Warcraft 3 custom games list, that a lot of people on there were super toxic, and if you were downloading the map, they would instantly kick you from the game and ban you so that you couldn't ever learn the game or even download the game to try it on your own, because they just didn't even want new players at all. And if you did get in a game, they just would not have patience for you if you're doing bad. And that's just something that's always been in MOBAs, I feel like. But dang, people are just ruthless in this game. Like with someone that's new and they'll be like, sorry, I don't know how to play jungle, and they're like maybe got forced into the jungle role, rather than like saying, hey, this is what you should be doing, get these items, try getting different cards. They just blow up at them, and then suddenly there's conflict, and no one's like getting experience or like getting minion kills because they're too busy typing at each other and causing a lot of animosity. And in my experience, even if you're way ahead, as soon as people start yelling at each other and blaming each other and pointing the finger at each other, the game's over. You're going to lose, because it's just, I don't know. It always just seems to be that way, even no matter how far ahead you are. As soon as there's like animosity between teammates, the game just over. But if you see somebody that is on your team that is struggling to face like a certain character, don't just like freak out at them and get mad about it, especially when you're not in ranked. Like I guess I can understand a little bit more in ranked. But overall, just tell them what they can do to be doing better. Like if they're facing a character that's ranged in the off lane, tell them, you know, maybe you should be getting some more physical armor or magical armor, depending on who they're facing, or just give them ideas on items that they can do to do better, and just help them out, help these new players out, rather than just chasing them away from the game. Because like I said in the last point, the biggest problem we have is not enough players in the game. And if you're just chasing people off and telling them to uninstall the game and making them not want to play the game anymore, that's not helping the situation at all. Okay, so moving on, the next point of toxicity I want to mention is people going AFK or throwing just because they have a bad start. And I even see this happen in ranked all the time, and it just gets super frustrating when you're doing really good and then suddenly like your offline will be struggling, so then he just like tries to forfeit like 5 minutes into the game and you won't forfeit, so he's like, okay fine, I'm just gonna go sit in base and run in circles. This happens way too much for any of my liking. Well, actually it happening at all is kind of annoying, but you get my point. But grinding through your rank and trying to get your rank up is hard enough without having to deal with teammates that are just toxic and not wanting to play the game because they think that their teammates are bad, and they start pointing the finger at everyone else. Like it's everyone else's fault that they're doing poorly. And it just gets super frustrating that they just decide that the game's over, so they're gonna make it over, and they want to be right. So they're gonna make the game bad, whether it's feeding or just sitting in base, making it a 4v5. The only solution for this is going to be really from Omeda to make them have better punishments. And also, like, if you have a bad teammate that's doing that and they review it and punish that person, they need to reimburse the team that had to deal with the struggling, because it gets really old. And it sucks, especially when you get higher up in the ranks. When you like lose a match, you lose a ton of VP, and it just gets super frustrating because it's like you spend a lot of time getting that VP and then you lose it because of someone else's actions, and they decided that they're going to make you lose. But I think something that a lot of people need to get better at is actually being sure to report these people. And I do agree that I did see somebody on social media say that they got a temporary ban because they spent too much time typing up a report on somebody. So just if you need to do the report after the game, do it after the game. Don't worry yourself too much, or just make it really simple on what you're saying. Like just say, oh, this person went AFK when they match didn't end. Boom, that's all you need. You don't need to type up a whole big thing going into details. But yeah, just make sure you're reporting these people and getting them out of our lobbies or making them better anyways. Okay, so the last issue that I want to bring up is connectivity issues. And I've noticed this a lot, especially with the new update. But I have been having a lot of games where I just crash, like the whole game just crashes and I go back to my desktop. And I've had a time where one of the times that this happened that I got a temporary ban because it said that I wasn't playing the match, but it wasn't my fault. It was the game crashing. But from what I've been seeing on social media, this has been a really common issue where they'll ban somebody for something that wasn't their fault. It was the game crashing. So hopefully Omeda Studios will fix that issue. At least if like the game crashes and it takes you a while to come back, that they won't punish you for that. And like even if it's in a ranked game, maybe just having some kind of forgiveness for that. But anyways, that's all the stuff I really wanted to talk about. I think that this game is really good, and I hope it doesn't go under, because I know a lot of people are leaving the game because of a lot of these issues that I've mentioned. And I know a lot of these issues could be solved by having a better player base, like I said, and a lot of this is going to be up to Omeda Studios to fix. But all I suggest is that you make sure that you're reporting people when they're doing stuff that's toxic. And also, if someone's just also being like rude in the chat, you can report them, because I feel like that's super annoying when someone just, because there's times where you just have like a bad game, or like the jungle won't help you and the enemy jungle is helping the enemy. And so you're just in this permanent situation where you look like you're doing terrible and everybody just blames you, and that gets super old. Report them for that. But also invite your friends to play the game. Try to get your friends to play the game with you. Like I try to get my friends to play, and I have a few that have, but a lot of my friends just don't like MOBA games. But if you know your friends that like MOBA games, get them into the game. Let's try to get this player base going up. And I know, like I said, a lot of the issues and solutions is going to be up to Omeda Studios to fix, but we can do our part and try to get people into the matches, as well as just trying to be patient with new players and not be toxic ourselves. And when people are being toxic, being sure to report them so that they get punished for their actions. And just, you know, overall trying to make the game better and try to save it from going under. Because I know a lot of people on social media think that it's going to go under, and I hope it doesn't, because this is like the only MOBA game that I actually enjoy playing. But anyways, I'm going to end the video off here. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and be sure to comment down below what you think of the current state of the game is, and if there's anything that I missed. But anyways, thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.